1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. All right, I got both candles burning out here. I may cuss, but I don't curse. Let's get that situated first. Bars because I'm nice and all that. Let's get that situated first. If you need me or you want me, there's a difference between the two. However, you might want to do both anyway. There'll be links to everything that you can get from me as of right now in my description box. All right, and I mean everything up to right now. There'll be more coming. Pause because I know that sounds crazy. But with that being said, that's out of the way now, right? I'm gonna start with the Carl Jungian archetype deck. This is going to be a bit different. This is going to be for the cardinal signs in the zodiac: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. It's going to be relative, bouncing off of a dream that I had that spoke significantly into what I believe to be what I was about to say, relationships, leadership. All right. So I had to bring both candles out. I was going to light the blue. Matter of fact, I might as well light the blue too. Bars. Because I because I brought the red out. Like, oh yeah, oh shit. I feel the passion. You see how the match stick just, that's the passion that's running through me, is surging through me. And it's like, yo, calm down off the coffee, bro. See what happens? You get a little caffeine in the system and then you start, you know what I mean? So I'll light up the red candle. I'm like, yeah, I feel passionate. Of course I feel passionate. I just had a large cup of coffee. I ain't even finish it, by the way, because I'm telling myself, like, yo, you a bit hyper, B. You know what I mean? Calm your chest areola areas right now and try to get a grip. So what happened was I started this reading already, and I did like a quarter of it with no microphone on. So that let me know, like, yo, you got a calculator in this dream and all that. Like, slow down, B. Slow down. I'm lighting the blue one up too. Maybe I need, just the protection in my dreams, from my dreams and all types of stuff, because I had a dream. Don't I always? But I had a dream, right? So I'm going to explain the whole dream first, and then I'm going to go to the breaking it down of the dreams, and then we're going to go into tarot and all that. I know how I'm doing now. So I had this dream in the classroom. Now, in this classroom, I'm in the front row of the classroom. I have a calculator in my hand, and I'm doing a mathematical problem. Can't recall the exact details of this problem. But when I was in there, I was in there. It was just weird because I didn't remember that I even dreamt this until like maybe 45 minutes after I woke up. So been holding on to this information. Then I remembered the dream. I was like, oh shit. So it just spoke leadership stuff to me, because I try to decipher off top the symbols that I've seen, and I'm like, whoa, what sign does this apply to? And I'm like, this could apply to a few different signs. Hence why I'm doing this for cardinals. So the classroom is empty. It's like, at the end of the class when they ring the bell and everybody leaves, it's like that part. But there's like one girl lingering in the back of the classroom, and she's like trying to tell me something. I don't recall what she was trying to communicate to me, but I think it was something about the coats, because I'm like, yo, this is my coat. I said, yo, whose coat is this? I think she said it was my coat. And I looked at the coat. I'm like, this ain't my coat. So there were two coats. Both of them were bear coats. Now, I don't know if you're from New York, and I think these coats expanded to different states like Maryland and stuff like that too, if I'm not mistaken. But back in the days, the bear coats was popping. They came and went too. That might have something to do with the analogy of the dream too. Like maybe business leaders are doing things that work in the moment and don't last long, not for longevity, possibly. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but bear coats came and went. I don't think they even make them anymore. If they do, get in the comment section to me where you can find them. Maybe they just make vintage, you know what I'm saying? Or they got the old models, and then you can like get them from some type of website or something like that. But I don't see bear coats anymore. So, but when they came out, we did have them. Like with some of us, we did have them. There was a few of them that we grabbed, right? So, but I'm looking at, so there's two coats, one seated on the back of a chair at one desk, and another on the other, that I'm standing in front of. I'm not sitting down on. I'm standing in front of the desk, and I'm looking at these coats. One of them I identify allegedly to be mine. I say allegedly because I don't recall ever having this coat in the 3D. It's like that in the 5D sometimes. Sometimes you got family, girls, all kind of shit, coats, clothes. You don't have in the 3D. And you just like, oh yeah, that's my family. That's my girl right there. So I'm looking at the first coat like, yeah, that's my coat. But I'm asking Shorty, I'm like, yo, well, she telling me like, that's my coat too. And I'm like, you sure this is my coat? Like, I don't know. This ain't my coat. That's what I told her. I said, this ain't my coat. You know what I'm saying? So She like, yeah, that's your coat. So I pick up the coat and I'm looking at the coat and the shit was hard body. I ain't even going front. Like I would rock it in the real world, in a real town. Like, so I'm looking at it, it's black. It says bear big on the back. Most of them did say it big. But the other one, I was about to say bigly. You know who says bigly, right? So I look at the other coat. I would say it's more my style, especially these days, because it says bear like real little on one of the tags, right? And you don't see it anywhere else in the coat. You wouldn't know it's a bear coat. But the other one that I picked up, it was hard. It was pause, but it was. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I could see myself wearing this because it was that dope, and it was black. Black's my favorite color, so I'm like, yeah, okay. This could be my coat, but I'm still telling myself this is not my coat for a reason that I'm gonna get to in a minute. But when I give the definitions and the breakdown, but I hold it up, I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, put it back down. Now in my mind, I'm telling myself, I'm taking this coat. I'm really convinced it's not mine anyway, but I'm like, I'm taking this coat when I leave the class anyway. I know, it is what it is though. I'm just keeping it a beam with you, right? So, classroom's empty. I don't even see a teacher in there. I don't see no professor, no nothing. But I'm definitely in the front row, and I'm just trying to break down this calculation. As I'm explaining all of this, y'all, just, keep your ears open and see what resonates with this. You understand what I'm saying? Leave what doesn't. If it's not yours, don't take it. You know what I'm saying? Don't become a hypochondriac or nothing either, because some of this stuff may be triggering, okay? So that's pretty much the dream. That's the end of the dream and all that. So now it's time to break this stuff down. So the dream of a coat represents your protectiveness and defensive persona, how you are shielding yourself from conflict or adversity. Consider the color and style of jacket for more detail, for more clarification. So, I always tell myself defense wins games. A strategist will tell you that too. Whether people want to listen or not, it's up to them. So some of y'all may be feeling defensive right now. And I feel like I said, this is a cardinal reading. So I feel like this has more to do with leadership on a grand scale than it does personally. But you can apply this personally because you are a leader. I'm getting that I'm speaking to a lot of business leaders right now, or leaders in your field, even if it's a volunteer service or something like that. It could be anything. So when I consider the style of the coat, it was a winter coat. The dream of a winter coat represents how you protect yourself mentally and emotionally during times of adversity, how you defend or shield yourself from a terrible situation. Snow in winter point to a purification or cleansing of negativity in your life. A winter coat reflects your thoughts, emotions, or habits as you attempt to confront this. Okay, so far for me personally, this is more of general statements. I have been kind of on the defense lately. But more times than not, I am on the defense. I would say when it comes to engagement and interaction and stuff like that, my offense is purely business. You know what I'm saying? Or what I do in my life. And I'm like defensive when I'm attacked. I think anybody would be. Or it could just come, you don't have to be like attacked, but it could just come in mere conversation. You know what I mean? I'm not always the one setting off a conversation. I'm more of the listener. And then when I hear something that I don't agree with, then here I go. You know what I'm saying? There I am, type shit. But this is where we get more clarification. So the color as well. Color black, right? The dream of the color black represents, because the coat was black. The dream of the color black represents imbalance or excess, a negative thinking pattern, a negative situation that is noticeably beyond normal limits. Peep game. I'm just doing this off the rip, too. I'm just got all of the definitions and stuff. I didn't plan this before I started doing it. A negative thinking pattern, a negative situation that is noticeably beyond normal limits. Black most often reflects negative feelings such as fear or behaviors where there is a lack of moderation. Black may also represent a situation in your life where there is nothing positive happening at all. Positively, the color black represents perfect focus on professionalism or thinking of nothing except yourself for your own benefit. Noticing that it's intelligent to think of nothing except yourself in a particular situation. Black may show up in dreams for people who are afraid, suicidal, depressed, desperate, doing too many drugs, or having too much sex. An imbalanced mindset, mood, or behavior. It may also reflect your own awareness of yourself being terrible to other people. Bears. I'm saying the bare definition, even though I didn't see an actual bear, I'm still looking at the bare definition because I know dreams are heavily symbolic. To see a bear in a dream represents an aspect of yourself that is staunchly independent or that doesn't like to share. You or someone else that likes to do things all on their own, not liking other ideas or other people interfering with you. You or someone else that is impossible to compromise with. Negatively, the bear reflects possessiveness, an overbearing attitude or unhealthy loner tendencies. You or someone else that doesn't want to share anything or do anything with anyone else. You want something all to yourself or to monopolize something. A fierce desire to have something all to yourself. Alternatively, a bear may reflect a problem that makes nobody like to be around you or issue that makes socializing impossible. Grumpy attitude and intimidating control freak in your life. Should we unpack that? Just all right. We can unpack this a bit because I can personalize this a bit and maybe help to clarify, and maybe it resonates more with what you just already heard, even though you heard enough that you could probably see if it resonates or not. So, I know personally I do a lot of stuff on my own, and I'm definitely the type to be like, move, let me do it, I'll do it. And they'd be like, why? You're just not moving fast enough for me, or you're not doing it right, or I'll make sure that it's done correctly, or you don't look as passionate, you don't look like you want to do it. You know what I mean? I'm that type. I also know the benefits that comes with cutting costs drastically and reaping the benefits of that. So there is something probably attached to that. Again, if it don't apply, let it fly. But if this does make sense, it makes sense. What I'm seeing though is holding a calculator and dealing with a mathematical problem. Well, I'm gonna get to that in a minute too. Let's deal with the black and the bears first. Things that are in excess, yes. So this is what I wanted to think about or talk about. I can't say my life has been lived in excess in the past month and a half, but I did have to get some things under control because I got the fuck it's too much. So after I revised and revamped my plan, things started going more ethically around here. But again, I went to college for this type of stuff. So in my excessive behavior, I was just going against what I learned. Not only what I learned, but what I specialized in. Like, this is what I took liking to. And I'm in belief that I took such a liking into my style of business. It's because of how my worldview is, or how my worldview is shaped. And when I'm learning all of these things, I'm like, yo, why more business people don't run their businesses like this? Like, this is this shit. Like, why is this not promoted? Why is this not talked about? Why is it not celebrated? And I get it now. I understand. You understand what I'm saying? But it's like I'm in this classroom with this calculator working on this particular mindset because I think others can benefit from it. Now, that's what I want to believe, but why so much black, right? Why the bears? Because this is about being staunchly independent. This is about not wanting to share. This is about being all about yourself. And it's deep because I am. I want to help others. In a way, I am, because of what I do, because of what I sell to the market. But I guess to what extent am I helping is probably what tarot is probably going to clarify. So let me break down classrooms. The dream of classrooms represents an interest in learning about yourself, personal growth, or finding solutions to problems or questions. You may have a concern about a specific subject or issue. Finances. I told you I had to go get my green money candle because I'm like, yo, passion is not what I'm really here and asking about. It's not what I'm really inquiring about. It's Cardinal, like, right? The red, leadership, passion, yeah. But obviously this needs some slowdown, right? And my own behaviors and my own actions right before the reading. So the calculator tells me it's more about the money. It's more about the calculation of dealing with what you have, what's coming in, what's going out, that type of stuff. To dream of sitting in the back of a classroom may represent an issue that concerns you, but that you don't want to draw attention to. I wasn't in the back. Clearly is in the front row, the very front row of this classroom. The dream of being closer to the front of the classroom than other people may reflect feelings about having more concern or anxiety about an issue than other people. Feelings that it's more important for you to pay attention or work hard on a problem than it is for others. And that could be personal, you know what I mean? And if I tie it all in together, I am heavily concerned about finances right now. I think everyone is, but I'm just keeping it a beam with you. Like, I am. Like I just told you, a month and a half ago, I was spending more than I needed to spend on shit that I didn't need to be spending it on. And I'm like, yo, although I'm good at cutting costs, I can get better. Like, I could do better. Like, you got a serious case of the fuckers, my man. So whatever it is we got to buckle down on, we about to do that. Like, that's where I was at. So I can attest to this classroom being in the front. But I feel like me being in the front of this classroom, again, was more along the lines of a leadership position of teaching other people how I do this, how I cut costs, how I bring in larger percentages than other people. So like it says, like, to be in the front of the classroom is like you feel it's more important to pay attention to this and work on it than others. And I feel like I gotta be the first, or, you know, the trendsetter of it, to speak this language to others, so at least they have it in their arsenal. I'm not trying to force this on the whole world and say, yo, everyone should do business like this. But if you have this type of business style in your arsenal, I think it can help. The subject of a classroom represents the manner, method, or direction you are thinking, a theme to concerns, issues you care about, situations that are sensitive. For example, history classes may reflect the re-examining of your past, and math classes, your attempts to solve a difficult problem. Geography may symbolize experiencing life from different perspectives, and science may represent experimentation with new ideas. So I was dreaming of mathematics, had a calculator in my hand. To dream of studying math or trying to solve a math equation represents a difficult life situation that requires you to care about positive choices or solutions, issues or situations that are unforgiving of mistakes or wrong choices. A situation or desired outcome in your life that requires sacrifices, objectivity, or adherence to good habits, morals, or rational thought. I just did a video about rationality versus primal instinct, right? They're not friends. Math in your dream may also reflect a problem in your life with only one right solution, something that may be difficult to accept or that tests you as a person. And I think we all are being tested as people. Life's obstacles and all, especially life's obstacles. But I'm going to read this example that comes with this mathematic definition. I think this is very important, not only for this dream, but just in general. So remember this. A woman dreamed that it was punishable by death to write down anything, trigger warning, to write down anything concerned with mathematics. In waking life, in the 3D, she was living in Nazi Germany during Hitler's rule. The illegal mathematics in this case may have reflected her feelings about the oppressive restrictions of the Nazi regime, making her fear being caught trying to solve or discuss difficult personal problems, as it may appear that she wasn't loyal to the government. Now, this spoke volumes to me when I read this example. We're about to get into this reading now. 18 minutes in, but if you with me, you with me, because you understand that this is more than just tarot reads now with me, B. Like, I'm being led to speak about leadership, and look, this is all woven together. So I'm holding this calculator in this classroom. I told you what I went to school for. I told you what I'm probably more anxious about. I'm working on myself too. I'm not perfect, right? And I'm just like thinking about the American economy. I'm thinking about the government, which I'm very versed in, despite me not being political. And I even spoke about that recently, about how I think I might be becoming political. But anyway, we'll save that for another time. But if we look at the American economy, I would say it operates more on this, or it relies more on this. The red, the passion, the quick action. However, my mindset and what I'm working on in this dream, what I'm working on in real life, is bringing the reality to people that everyone is not suited to have that type of economical behavior. So we're talking about the second house now, y'all. Wherever it is in your natal chart, find it, locate it, identify it right now so this could resonate with you more, and where it's at in your solar chart. Because you may understand exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying this. Like, if you got a more gradual sign in your second house, you may need to pay attention to this. Let's say even this. If you got a contemplative sign in your second house in your natal chart, but you got a quick moving active sign in your solar chart, you see how that can conflict with the real you being your natal chart? I hope that didn't fly over your head. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like in the day-to-day moment, you like moving quickly, making purchases, but natally, that's not even your style, B. See how that can conflict with one another? But if you're not aware of this, if you don't study yourself, right? Classroom represents interest about learning about yourself, personal growth, or finding solutions to problems or questions. If you're having problems and you're having questions about your materialistic attitude ruled by your second house, this is what you need to be studying. And that's what I'm feeling like. Are we going along, leaders included, cardinal signs, are we going along with what our government or what our economy is advertising to us, or are we being true to ourselves? And I think that's what this reading is about, largely. It's the situation at hand. The Father. Okay. We have officially, this is going to be great. I'm telling you, that's too many, Spirit. That's too many. Take this one, you're taking this one. The sacred union. How we feel about the situation. Sacred union. Okay. And what's the factors to consider regarding all of this? Because I want details, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all from a personal point of view based upon the definitions that I've seen in the dream. We got all of that correlated, right? However, I'm just one person. Two popped out, which one we taking? The androgynous. The androgynous is the factors to consider. I believe that's like binary, or non-binary. Or, don't quote me on that, but I believe so. I'm going to read the definitions anyway. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, where were we? The Father, right? The Father. In the endless cycle of the seasons that cool and warm the soil and fill the dry stream beds with murmuring water and ceaselessly dry the black earth hardened by the heat wave, law, discipline, authority, and at the same time love and protection carry the soul of the Father who supports and guides the generations living in the world to certain and known goals. Clear Father who supports and aims the shaky bow toward the firm center of the target, and dark Father, Father of the shadow, who reveres his own image reflected in the oval of the mirror and regulates to his law and is not moved by the gentleness of mercy. The Father does not beget the Father of the night, lover of himself, son of Cronus, descendant of the violent Uranus. He envies and mauls generations. He sits on a square throne, stable root of power. With his eye he observes, judging the world. Bloodthirsty and pale in appearance, he fears as a terrible king the day of the end of his empire. The master who envies the pupils is a bad mentor. This is a deep definition. Jeez. Because matchstick was still burning in there. Double flames. All right, so what I'm getting, because this is the situation that's at hand here. Rigidness is obviously one of the things that is getting in the way. The marveling of oneself. So this could be, like in my dream, this could be me ignoring the independent side of myself. Right? Because I'm denying the coat in the dream. And Shorty in the back of the classroom, she's telling me like, yo, this is your coat. And I'm like, nah, this ain't my coat. And she's like, yes, it is. And I'm just like in denial. Like, no, I'm not bare, like staunchly independent, not wanting to share. But if I look at my business, it's like, yeah, how many employees you got? You are like that. Like, stop, knock it off. If this resonates, let me know. If you like this, let me know. But I see how the father mentality is seeping into this, like, because of law, discipline, and authority. Like, there's just some things that you won't bend and break to. I think some of us, I could speak for myself. Let me just read the card, yo. The Father who supports and guides the generations living in the world to certain and known goals. That's one area of the Father. Law, discipline, authority, and at the same time, love and protection carry the soul of the Father, who supports and guides the generations living in the world to certain and known goals. But it's rigid. You understand? It's like it has to be done this way. It should be done this way, and you'll see. But that's kind of like at the same time not allowing the generations next up to go out and make their own mistakes, to go out and learn on their own and do it their way, the same way that you did it, that you ended up doing. And I'm not saying, some people did follow suit. Some leaders started off following someone else. But I'm pretty sure they learned some characteristics of their own along the way that says, okay, this is how I identify as myself, and this is how I'm doing it, and these are my rules. But to look in the mirror and see how you're not moved by the gentleness of mercy. This is a real rigid stance that basically has no forgiveness for error or mistake. Hence me perhaps with the calculator. Lover of himself, descendant of the violent Uranus, mauls generations, sits on a square throne, stable root of power, with his eye he observes, judging the world. This is related, if you ask me, to my definition of the American economy. Perhaps government as well, how the officials stay in office for so long. They're at these ages that they are, yet still in control. And I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong. I'm saying that the cards are helping us clarify what I've seen in my dreams and what I'm being led to say. I think we have the personal responsibility to see how this pertains to our lives personally, and then perhaps collectively. We're going to get to the collectively when I get to this sacred union card. But the master who envies the pupil is a bad mentor, and I think that particular saying rings loud about this father card, because that might not be all the fathers or the father mentalities, the people who are in thrones of authority and stuff like that. I mean, it is what it is. You're going to obtain a throne of authority the longer that you're here, right? So I'm not saying to denounce your fatherhood or that male or that masculine principle that you carry about yourself. I don't think that's what divination is saying right now either. I think that it's more about the perception of the generations that are next up. How hard are we on them? Pause. And what does it really have to do with us if we were to really think about it? So now let me get to the sacred union. Among the 12 faces of the celestial gods, pleasing to the Greeks and to Rome, among the marble columns and the enchantress trees that tell stories before the sacred, ever-burning embers perfumed with incense, there is a small aloof face to which the passerby secretly raises supplications and secret thoughts in ecstasy. And there, in the shadows, the most powerful simulacrum of the divine, a marriage that unifies opposites, mystical and alchemical at once, visible and invisible, human and divine, king and queen under the prolific eye of the lover, the self in the flesh and self outside the flesh, physical and spiritual world, fertility and cradle of life, Solomon and the nameless bride, Osiris and Isis with the Sinawus cats, Adonis and Venus bearing love, so Christ and Sophia, the shaman's invisible bride, are the hexagram of the triangles pointing up to the sun and down to the moon, the moving air and earth, thus the fire of the highest spheres in the mutable water. Conscious and unconscious, united generate the luminous disk of the sacred union. Each union consecrates one or more ways of being. So this is basically talking about the yin and the yang, the male and the male and the masculine, the female and the feminine principles. Not even opposites attract, but opposites integrated, interwoven. Oppositions, even in astrology, having a way to balance the other side out. It's like a portal that you reach your hand through when you're dealing with oppositions. That's how somebody put it to me a few days ago. I thought that was pretty unique. But it's true. When you're faced with oppositions, you have a choice to make. You can go on that side or you can stay over here. It's really up to you. But I think what this is really saying, and what we are really feeling like right now, is like And cross watchers included. If this, if you adding this to where your signs are and these signs are in your chart, of course you're welcome. Left that out. What this is saying is, it's kind of like the softening up with the Father. We're feeling it. We're feeling like, yo, why not take some chances with people? And I feel like it's challenging because the situation at hand is so rigid. Well, we've been doing things like this for so long. How dare we change now? Or how can we change now when we're going to be like the isolated dude or chick in the classroom, right? In the front row by themselves, like, you geek. Why are you sitting in the front row of the classroom? And it's like, because it's not all about me. So it's like being in the classroom, like in my dream, it was like a double entendre. I told you I'm working on a problem. I do want to help people. Because I'm coming to the conclusion that these unions, bars, seclusion, union, I'm gonna kill that, watch. I'm coming to the conclusion that unions are something that is sacred. How I get here? I got here because of a union. Did I dream about I might have even dreamt about my parents, because I think something just flashed in my mind about my parents. But listen, there's something about these unions that we know we should be doing. Bars, I'm just fucking nice, B. I don't know how else to tell you that. And it's like, yo, we got to figure it out, or we're on the verge of figuring it out, because, and I've mentioned this in prior videos speaking about the ages of how emperors, really dominated the past 2,500 years. But it's like, now, where y'all gonna hide? Like, as soon as they even bought the bunkers, it's like, yeah, we know the exact address of where you just bought the bunker. Where you think you going is my point when I laugh at that. Like, we can get on the phone with some Mexicans right now and be like, yo, so how y'all dig them tunnels again? And look, maybe I shouldn't have that type of attitude, or maybe I should, or maybe I just need that type of charisma to bring through to clarify this message, because it's like, yo, if you know people need people, do you exploit them to the point of the Father as described in this deck? You get what I'm saying? Do you only, because like I said in the beginning, not all of us are designed to fit into the mold that is at least advertised to us by our economy. And then they'll come in the media, and I'm not even blaming this on government. These are the merchants that will come and publicize themselves as, yeah, the economy's doing well, and the NASDAQ that's a whole collective thing, but everybody ain't winning in the fucking NASDAQ. I don't care how many points it's up. Hey, somebody lost. And those people who lost probably don't have their natal charts, or probably not in the classroom, and they're probably not studying themselves. And that's why I'm here doing this reading. Because that's the people who need help. It doesn't even mean that they can't participate or won't participate. It means that they need to find out who they are themselves first before they can even consider that. Right? So, miss me with the whole nationalism vibe. I gave you the Hitler example, right? Miss me with that, because you might want to lump me in this collective thing where I come out a loser. And I'm not having that. You're not having that. You're a leader. You have leadership qualities. You're not having that. And you don't want the next person to have that, because, again, you might have to build a bunker to where you may have to defend, right? Defensive was spoken about in one of these symbols. And I love defense, by the way, but I'm just saying, you might have to defend yourself to an extent that is excessive, that would not be needed if you adopt the strategy, and at least teach the strategy too, of how to involve others in what it is that you're doing. Let's get to the factor to consider, which is the androgynous. The sages tell us that in the beginning of things, before deity brought order to the confused origin of creation, high and low, wet and dry, cooled and heat, justice and iniquity lived in the same body. So the androgynous in this and his perfect nature realizes in the world the coincidence of opposites, rich in multiform Dionysus, seer and wise Tiresias. Y'all mythical motherfuckers, y'all get in the comment section and just put the hyphens over these letters and shit for me. Before the sacred and circular serpents, golden globe of kings and queens, celestial and chthonic Lucifer together, who brings light, the androgynous traverses with liquid phantom nature, rites, ceremonies, and festivals for which the world is reflected and rotates. Anima, animus, feminine in the masculine, and at the same time masculine in the feminine. Dual selves. That's how it's worded, y'all. That the alchemist reduces with skillful effort to the unity of the one, is a creature that breaks through the binary and opposing veil of appearance, forgetful of the law of the dark father again mentioned. By its power it breaks the fluid soul that dissolves. Forgetful of the law of the dark father, right? Which is the situation at hand right now. It's the factor that is to consider is to abandon that, to forget it. Wow, this is deep. Can't make this shit up. All right, dissolves and recompasses the motionless judgment, the self-generating tradition, the still time that blocks the circle plots of life. Time is not linear. Time is circular. It goes in spirals. You understand what I'm saying? That's my pendant, y'all. That's why I picked it up. Change and fluidity define life. I marvel in that. I'm a Pisces. I'm a mutable sign. I'm a mutable moon, and I'm a mutable ascendant. So I like change. I like the adapting and shifting and stuff like that. But if the world wants to remain strict and solid and rigid, Earth Capricornian-like, then you can see where the issues and the problems are coming from. I'm just keeping it a bean, and it's right here. I know what this message feels like. I know what this sounds like. And you know what? So the factor to consider here is really how to combat the issue of the father. It's through sacred unions. This could be plural. It could be more than one union. It could be one union. Maybe you just got to start at one union. You understand what I'm saying? And it's deep because they speak about in the androgynous, I think of the zodiac. I think of symbols first before I think of everything else. Like everything begins with symbols. We can even start at the numbers. I think the numbers are probably the most ancient of symbols. Like we were in numbers first before we expressed in male, feminine. And I spoke just recently about, I know women who have more masculinity in their chart than feminine. You know what I'm saying? And I know men who have more femininity in their chart than masculine. Yet you're still a man. There's still a woman. So you got to identify with that part, but also appreciate and identify that they have feminine and, counter to popular belief. And to study it. Like I'm actually studying people's charts because I want to understand them better before I engage with them. You know what I'm saying? Again, if you don't know certain stuff, your delivery can come out just ignorant. That's the best word to say it. You know what I mean? So the word sacred is in front of union. Think about who you're dealing with before you get, you know what I'm saying? If you could study them, try it, is what I'm saying. Because you're going to identify the androgynous aspects that these individuals have when you study them. You're going to be like, oh shit. Because it's just, when I read natal charts all the time. All I see is symbols. You're going to start reading symbols and then get back to their human anatomy or what makes your blood pump for them and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like the last part. The manifestation of the body in the 3D, that's the last part of the whole process, B. These ingredients inside of us that are designed by the grand architect. Symbols, the interpretation of symbols is where it begins. And that's what I'm seeing is where we gotta get back to. To me, this is a reading about astrology, y'all. Getting back to where we came from. A leaving from what industrious looks like to more of what industrious feels like. which would, on top of that, give industry a new look. So what's the vibe, yo? I'm pulling out this deck again. Spirit, let's pull more cards on this Father card. Thrills. Thrills, continuous cycles, bad decisions, and addictions. I think this comes with the excess. I'm feeling that this comes with the excess. We make these decisions when we have a good year, when we have a good quarter. And we say, oh, look at the money, right? Let me call Shorty now. Some people call and make those connections with sacred unions, or what should be sacred, only when they're up. Pause. And when they got that money, you know, that's when the confidence comes. But not only that, you got excess funds. Granted, you want to have fun, funds and funds. There's no coincidence that that word is tucked in there like that. But we're tested, right? Somewhere along this reading, it was something about being tested. These cycles, or we're talking about time being linear in contrast to time going in cycles. Sacred spirals. So some of them come from the decisions that we make, from the addictions that we have. And it's because we want the thrills. We want the, I don't know, I'm not going to call them cheap. The card didn't say anything about cheap, but they're thrills. You know? And I don't know, maybe it is because, you know, I'm just coming off that video. Pause, that's crazy. Intelligence, the enemy of lust, or, you know, primal instinct. And maybe enemy was too strong of a word. But, and I say maybe it was too strong of a word because I think there is something humanely ineffective about disregarding the lower rungs of your body. Because why do we have it? I don't subscribe to the heaven hell logic. I mean, heaven, head, H-E-A, head, heaven. Heel, hell, H-E-L, right? I subscribe to that part, but the whole everybody's like on fire and I don't subscribe to that. And if a war broke out in heaven before, like, don't you think that people have mental anguish and conflict at times too? Like, it just makes sense if we're going to look deeper into the analogy, right? The symbology of it. I don't think it's cool to disregard the lower half of the body. So I'm kind of tying this to the thrills, the bad decisions, the addictions. What if we're here to experiment more with our bodies and learn our bodies more because of the androgynous? Like, if we all exist male and female inside one body, and we always have, maybe we need to learn more about that part of our life so we don't continuously cycle with, I think, the unawareness of how we use our bodies, how we use the masculine and feminine. I think that's where the bad decisions and the addictions are coming in, more than it just being, oh, don't, you know, be on semen retention all the time. No disrespect to the people on semen retention. Do your thing. I practice it sometimes too. Like, but I've also come to the conclusion that me personally, I feel it in my bones and in my body that, nah, bro, that can't be the way. That can't be the ultimate way. Just because that's how we reach the Christ consciousness and all that. Like, Christ was conflicted too. He didn't tell you that. Well, he did kind of at the end on the cross. If we're going to really keep it a beam. Spirit, clarify more though on these thrills on top of the Father card. Get more of a definition on that. Because it's got to be out there for a reason. But I'm feeling my way of why something like that would be out there. I don't think we fully understand ourselves the way we think we should, or at least the way that we should. Laughter, happiness, joy, healing. How much do we laugh at ourselves? Now, to pull this out on top of thrills and continuous cycles, bad decisions and stuff like that. All right, which bad decisions can you identify in detail that brought the opposite of laughter, happiness, joy, and healing? Do you have, or have you had relationships that made you laugh, that brought you happiness, that brought you joy? And if so, Are they good for you, or do you just want torment? Because if we're having thrills and continuous cycles, bad decisions and addictions, I think that's the opposite of this actual card. But I asked Spirit, what is, give me more clarification about this Father card. And I think it's telling us to make more decisions, especially when it comes to sacred unions, about the ones that bring us happiness, joy, and healing. And if we let thrills, I guess, look, because happiness can be a thrill, joy can be a thrill. So I'm not being discriminative when I'm saying this. But y'all know, I think we all know the manner in which we participate in bad decisions. What factors or what elements results in that? Spirit, clarification on the sacred union, please. Clarification on the sacred union. Spirit, matter of fact, let me be direct. Gotta be direct when talking to Spirit. I just heard that too. Like, yo, be direct. Don't start dancing around it. If you want clarification on the sacred union, ask for clarification on the sacred union. I gotta remind myself about that. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Oh no, we not going. I see the cards from the last collective reading pop up out of there. Woo! Told not to take that, but I seen them. The same exact cards that. Alright, take these. Striptease, gamble in Vegas. Nightlife. Antisocial, in your feelings, silent treatment, left out. Blood ties, inner circle, family. Epiphany, self-reflection, answered questions, untapped talents. And at the bottom of the deck, glow up, new opportunities, new career, successful business. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is the sacred union can entail this type of description. Striptease, gamble, Vegas, but it's important to understand what these words mean. It's a gamble. We're talking about your soul here. So you're taking a risk. When you put yourself out there in the type of way that is teasing, striptease, right? Like if a girl told me, yo, I like when you put your hair up like that, and next video I got my hair up, you understand what I'm doing, right? Like there's no going around that. You know what I'm doing type shit. I'm taking a risk. I'm taking a gamble. This is like a game. Life is a game. And if I understand that some people like to see me that way, here I am. And I might like doing this myself, you know what I'm saying? But if I did it on my own and people have complimented it, then so be it. You know what I mean? This is now part of Vegas, baby. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is part of the game now. This is part of the sacred union. It's on. I asked for clarification for the sacred union. But it's like a game. It's kind of like even the movie Gamer pops up in my mind, and I know it's kind of a sad storyline when you think about the plot. But I'm just saying, taking life too serious, as the father might, takes away from the understanding that life is a game. So I'm not saying I agree. This is a tough one. I had to just bring the movie Gamer into this, right? Because it's a tough plot. It's a tough story plot. So I guess I'm speaking to the leaders who have entered this game and understand that this is a game, that the business part is a game, right? Because we're talking about self-reflection, answer questions, untapped talents. When you look in the mirror and you see something about yourself and you just have this epiphany, like, oh my God, somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, somebody compliment me on my sideburns. I'll be like, yo, maybe it's time to really grow in the beard fully again. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just things to consider, like, yo, it's a game. It's beards are not untapped talents, but you get what I'm saying, right? When you pick up on things that you're not normally initially building your persona on, or building your business on, or building your sacred unions on, it can be those people that unionize with you that pull your coattails about these things, that assist you in having an epiphany. The light bulb goes off. And you're like, ding, 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 ding. Like, I could have been made better decisions and been involved in better cycles, because life is cycles, B. There ain't no going around that. Time is in circular motion, baby. But these thrills don't have to be cheap ones. They could be better decisions of bring happiness, joy, and healing. What if the continuous cycles brought happiness, joy, and healing? What if you was addicted to laughter, happiness, joy, and healing? I'm just saying. But a lot of us are right now answering our own questions through epiphanies. You're taking the time to look at yourself and you say, well, you know what? I could look in the camera a little bit more. Or, you know what I mean? It wouldn't kill me. It's part of the game. People want to be entertained. Bars, fucking nice. That part. You know what I mean? Now, this family, blood ties, and inner circle thing. This is probably the heaviest part of this sacred union definition in this reading, I feel. Anyway, because some of y'all do also feel this way. Antisocial because you feel left out. You feel silent treatment from others. You're also delivering back silent treatment to others because you feel left out. And I'm not feeling that that's a bad thing. I feel like everyone who's feeling that way has reason to feel that way. Some of it is related directly to family, to the direct blood ties. Like, I don't even know about this. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Like, how did we become family? It's like blood ties, but it also says inner circle. So it could be like, okay, I'm going to make my family. It could be one of those things. Like, yeah, I got some blood ties that is going to be connected with me, and other blood ties that are not. And then I got my people who have made themselves family, or who I'm making family, who are my inner circle. And like, this is what family means now. Like, that's what the family looks like now. And this may came from being in long periods of time, being antisocial, being in your feelings, and thinking this stuff out, sorting it out, like sorting out your emotions, how you feel about these people that have been put in your life by obligation, something that was out of your control, in contrast to what you can control now. Spirit, what we got on the androgynous? What more clarification should we get on the androgynous? Because in order for unions to be sacred, you got to find yourself and how you fit in that circle. You know? You can't just go along for the ride and deny your feelings. As far as androgynous goes, possibilities. Follow your dreams. Make up your mind. Believe in yourself. You heard? This also flipped over. Trapped, stuck, no options, unforgiveness. I think that's the point. Like, coming from this positioning to the possibilities. Think about the possibilities. Imagine the possibilities. If you follow your dreams, that's where they are. You will become untrapped when you follow your dreams. But making up your mind is very important about that part. Yeah, I'm not even gonna put my own twist on that. But I'm telling you that I'm being told not to personalize that, like not to put my own personal twist on that. But I'm being told to emphasize that, making up your mind, whatever that means to you. Two-faced, double life, cheater, backstabber. This can be an aspect of yourself that you know you are capable of. If it is, it's along the lines of being androgynous. How your ascendant can be different from your sun sign. As like an analogy to where you got a face mask and then you got a soul. You got to wear a face that's different from your soul every day. That's kind of an analogy of what I'm saying. Like this could be you interpreting the totality of yourself, or the possible totality of yourself. And this can also be the weighing of oppositions in your life or in your own character, to where I said you have a choice. You can be like that, or you can be like this. You have a choice. Or this can be just merely be that it's Gemini season. I'm picking up on this too. So to be aware of this type of energy in general, and that this can leap into anyone at any moment because of the season. So I don't know if you're familiar with Constantine type shit, or when people, spirits and entities can enter people's bodies, and the next thing you know, they're communicating in some type of way that's different and foreign to you. And you're like, yo, you don't even seem like yourself right now. You good? You might even have to ask those questions. And you might have to ask those questions to get that spirit out of that person. This can, if this is not you, this can also be somebody else. You know what I mean? So you make it fit the way it's supposed to fit, pause. But this reeks part of the androgynous definition, does it not? Of how all of it is embodied in one. It was all in one body in the beginning anyway. And somehow when we actualized, it became two. The face was able to become two. And that comes from a split mind. So yeah, coming off of the energy of make up your mind, Gemini is about split minds. Split mindsets. Can be real fickle, can be real sometimesy, could be real, oh, I did say that? No, I didn't. Or I could say that, but you can't. Or, that type of energy, And it's like, but when you make up your mind, you're saying you're making up a mind, one mind. And that's why it's important to make up your mind when it comes to this androgynous stuff, because you do go back to one mind, but it's not split in two. So it's like kind of reverse osmosis. It's like you're going back to the beginning. Now, in the other reading, I said, I feel like we're going back to Egyptian times anyway. So if you put an emoji in the comment section, I'm not going to be joking and snapping on you like, yo, that's cool, because we was stamped by emojis back in the days. We was stamped by sigils back in the days. We ain't want to do too much talking. Just, scribble my shit on it, bang, send it to the post office, we lit. I know who that is, yeah. Fuck is you talking about? Peach on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Put some peaches on my shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you hear what I'm saying? Like, I'm feeling this deep. You understand what I'm saying, right? Like, you getting back to that one mind. Like, this is how I am. This is how I do. This is what I'm doing. And it might be a struggle within yourself again, because you're trying to identify, like, who am I really? What am I really? Or what does this circumstance? Because circumstances can have people bend from who they truly are, right? The analogy, transits conflict or are not the same position to where they planets were when you were born, is a circumstance. So if you're not a Gemini sun, you're facing a circumstance right now, because the light is on two-faced energy, double-mindedness. I'm sorry to be saying all of the negative Gemini traits right now, but shit, look at the card. I'm being told to. We'll get to the great stuff later, or when it's time for that. More on androgynous. I feel one more card, Spirit. One more definition, or more information on the androgynous spirit. Not that much. That's heavy. That's heavy. I'm being told to slow down. I'm feeling like the reading is getting away from me. Just slow down. Just slow down. Alright. Gotcha. There it goes. Consequences. Bad choices. Games. Mixed signals. This comes right on top of the two-faced card. Gemini rules over gaming too. Okay, this is just bringing, this is bringing clarity to what I'm asking. There is consequences for actions. So when you make up your mind to do something, remember that. Now, mixed signals comes from like I said, being fickle or showing two sides or giving people ultimatums or, you know, maybe going back on your word or something like that. That's mixed signals. And you know what it would just jumped in my mind? When you make up your mind to be so solid, like I said, to get to this solidarity mindset, it's kind of like you're going right back to the father ideology, right or wrong. Strict, structure, rules. This is how I am, this is how I'm not. I'm not going to play with you. You're not going to play with me because there's consequences, right? That's how the father looks at it. Like, yo, this is how it's done. This is how it's always been done. This is how it should be done. And if you don't do it this way, watch. There's consequences. But it's just like not giving people the ability to fuck up on their own. You see, life goes in cycles, yo. Life goes in cycles. So I can't even say, with this card popping up now, after all of this, I can't even say what's right, what's wrong. Again, this is up to you, the individual, to find it out. Should we get into tarot? Why not? Probably gonna find out some shit now. Because I want to know. I want to know. Spirit, I'm not drawing cards on any of these piles in particular. Should they pop out and fall on these cards organically, I'll make a highlight of that. Spirit, I just want more clarification from the tarot's perspective. Don't take all of those. No, take all of them. Okay. Okay, so we got the Nine of Swords in reverse. We got the Chariot. And we got the Ace of Wands. Got Judgment, the Nine of Cups, and the Five of Wands. When your mind is made up, your journey to success is going to start showing more progress. If you've already been brought out of that mindset, you already see this being brought into fruition already. This is going to enable you to embark on something that you were already inspired about. But it's being asked to realize that the people you have been conversing with, that you may have seen as two-faced or seen yourself becoming two-faced after a while of conversing with them, it's being asked to see them as a mirror, to see that we're all connected, we're all one. So the only reason why those conversations came out with you feeling that way is because it's preparing you, it's testing you to teach you something about cycles, to teach you the lesson about cycles, and enabling you to be more confident in your decisions moving forward. Yeah, because it's about the assessment right now. So it's like when you catch yourself feeling away or triggered about a feeling that you felt before, or maybe behavior that you felt before, and you're saying, well, how did that result? How did that turn out last time? You know? When you ask yourself that, ask yourself if it was based upon a rule or based upon being whimsical, based upon you living a double life. Because, I don't know, maybe you got involved with someone. I'm picking back up on the sacred union thing. Maybe you got involved with someone and you behaved in a certain way with them because maybe you settled. Maybe you settled, or maybe it was because of convenience that you settled. Maybe it was because you didn't have to look at yourself as an individual as much anymore. You know, when you got somebody to confide in and you got somebody you can depend on, it takes some of the burden off. But ask yourself, or you are asking yourself, how much did that play a role in taking from yourself? Because when you're going back to the self, you're still going back to the androgynous self. So let's say you got in a union with a mate, and look, this is not even gender specific, maybe same sex and all of that is what I'm feeling. Were you able to identify the masculine and feminine traits in the union? How they were beneficial, how they were detrimental, etc. Looking at life in unions through this scope is going to bring you joy and happiness. You're going to be able, so like I was saying about spirits leaping in and out of bodies, you're going to be able to have discussions with some of these people that you felt a spirit may have been inside of their body at a particular moment, and you're going to be able to get over it. They're going to actually be able to identify with what you're talking about, so they're not going to think you're crazy. I'll give you an example. I had a conversation with someone a few months back, and I kid you not, they was like, yo, I just seen something pass by me, like it was like an orb or something. I'm like, word. So I'm not thinking that they're crazy, you know what I'm saying? I'm on to that type of shit. We talking, I say about maybe two minutes later, they said something to me that triggered me. I'm just keeping it a bean. And my whole mood switched, my whole emotion switched, my whole attitude switched. I was all of a sudden irritated, even insecure. Like I didn't like how their voice was sounding. I didn't like how their tone was sounding. No, none of that. And I expressed it. I voiced it. Usually I don't let shit like that bother me. But I couldn't avoid it. Like my next words to them, you could hear it in my tone. Like I was bothered. I was irritated. I was close to disgusted with them. And it was like, yo, what's the matter? I mean, their laugh was just a bit too haughty for me. Their laugh, they whole demeanor, their whole delivery, it was too forceful and forward for me. And I was just like, yo, I don't like the way you sound right now. They're like, yo, what you mean? I'm like, yo, I'm telling you, like, I don't really know how to clarify it and totally explain it to you, but I'm not vibing with you right now. How? What happened? And we even brought up, like, yo, maybe that thing did do something. I don't know if it jumped in you, if it jumped through me over the phone. Something, I told, yo, something's come over me to where I don't like how this is going right now. And I'm about to get off the phone. Like, I'm dead ass. And that's what happened. Some of y'all are going to be able to revisit these things and realize it is what it is. Like, and become happy about it, because you know that there's hope for the future. You know that you can actually be optimistic about some of the darker things that are occurring in life. Some people, exorcisms can happen for some people. Some people are just far gone. They're too gone. They're gone already. And I think some of those people actually made pacts of some sort, or, you know, I don't know, maybe watched too much TV and thought that was a good thing for them to go do, and now they're trapped. But what I'm also feeling is this, that when you come into this form of happiness, this whole 9 of Cups is going to be like a wish fulfillment. It's like Dark Night of the Soul. You come out on the other end happy. It's like the sun shines now after this crazy ride of just dark, even like torment type of vibe. You're going to enter some form of competition, which is wild, but I think this ties back into the whole thing of where this began, business and leadership. So this can even come in the form of mediumship. Some of y'all might be mediums, and you might get questioned about, well, what makes you have authority? What class do they have for this? Do you got a degree in spirituality? Like, who even says that you can do this? Like, why do people follow you? Why do people listen to you? I read a tarot reading, it was yesterday. I didn't finish watching it because that's how long they took defending themselves. We spoke about being defensive in this video about how she was being attacked by people asking her questions relative to what she does, which is read tarot. And I felt her, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, damn, I felt and heard the irritation in her body so much, and it was being drawn out. I know how it could be. I'm kind of like drag my reading sometimes too. But I felt more sad for her than anything. Like, damn, she's really up here explaining herself. You ain't got to explain yourself, Ma. Maybe once for a little while. When it comes to explaining yourself, I feel like you should just say it, get it out of the way. Don't reiterate. We heard you, Ma. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you could tell how people are impacted by when they have to be combative and defensive when it comes to competition. Because that's all it is competition. I'm reading in the comments, they like, yo, other readers do it like this and other readers do it like that. And some of them are like, yeah, those tarot readers, they thinking it's like, what are you even doing here? If you got something against tarot readers, like, what the fuck are you even doing here? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, you enter competition sometimes unknowingly, unwillingly. And I get that's what this is going to come from, coming back brighter and shining and more jovial after your dark night of the soul. And people are going to be like, oh, so you're back on. You're back at it, or you're back on the scene, or, you know, oh, you're not going through what you was going through anymore. What did you do? A magic spell? Like, what are you, like that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Or they might just compare you blatantly out loud in public. Let me pull out a deck I ain't pull out in a minute. Pardon. I'm going to pull a dragon card. I have just been led to pull a dragon card. And then we're going to close this up. We're going to close this up with a dragon card. A dragon oracle card. That's what we're going to do. Alright? There it is. Silence. I feel internally, intuitively, I know what this is about already, but I'm gonna read from the book, alright? It can feel as if life is rushing ahead of us at times. What I said, I feel like the reading is getting away from me, right? Spirit telling me slow down. So what is over hour? Do your reading. We race from place to place, often feeling tired from expending all that energy. We are told that there is strength in stillness. Remember, I had to put my red candle out too. We are told that there is strength in stillness, and this is also the lesson that the pink dragon wishes to teach you. In past centuries, one of the ways time was measured was with an hourglass, and it is such a shame that this very elegant way of calculating time has been more or less forgotten in our modern lives. It was almost like a magic ritual. The sand would flow from the upper half of the hourglass into the lower half, allowing us to watch time slip away as it did so. The magical part of the process was that time was not lost forever. However, the sand accumulated in the bottom half, and once it had all run its course, we would turn the hourglass and everything will begin anew. Got me thinking about the Father card. Be aware that nothing is lost. Everything is watched over by those that accompany us on our journey. The angels, ascended masters, unicorns, and dragons. The silent pink dragon wishes to lead you into the solitude of the desert in order for you to find yourself and spend some time in prayer. Visualize yourself standing in the desert. Be aware of the warm sand beneath your feet. Sense the pink love dragon behind you and lean back against its chest. The desert is an ocean made of grains of sand, and in each and every grain you will find the light of the divine source. Feel the sand under your feet. Sense that in the divine source, no time exists, only love and eternity, as in every individual grain of sand beneath you. Enjoy leaning back against the chest of this superb being, and take a moment to feel the silence of the desert. Seek out the place of silence in your heart. It is a vast treasure chest where love and eternity dwell within. Use these words as your mantra. I have all the time in the world. I'm hearing loudly that this double life energy, two-faced energy, is a fleeting time right now. Spirits can enter the fragile Gemini type mind being because it considers both sides so much. No shot to Gemini, just is what it is. This anti-social place that I was speaking about earlier, self-reflection, the family blood ties, all about the sacred union. Some of y'all are in that dark night of the soul type of energy right now. This dragon card is saying to remain there as long as you want to, as long as you need. The tarot cards just jumped ahead, I can tell, and clarify. This is more of a future thing. When you come out of this, like I said, that Nine of Cups thing is plausible. The Five of Wands, you'll be in competition of some sort, some kind of way. Typical shit, right? But this is the tarot is not telling you to jump out and leap out now. Stay where you are. Remain mysterious. Remain silent. Remain to yourself, because you're going to be true to yourself. And I feel like it got a lot to do with Gemini season as well. Despite how interactive it could be and everything, it can be very sensitive. I personally, as an astrologer, find that Gemini energy is the most fragile of the energy in the zodiac. I have reasons for it. I could probably do a whole video on that. But this may be a time that you might want to sit out more than you want to get engaged and involved, because it's hyperactive. It's hyperactive in the mind when it's Gemini season, y'all. You may be getting all types of forms of communication coming from everywhere, and you got to sift and sort out which is going to be which and for what, for why, and all of this. Sit this one out. It may just have just to do with the season. Sit the season out. Okay. The point is, look at time differently. If you don't gotta engage, you don't gotta engage. Just is what it is. This is on your timing. Type of timing. You understand? And that's all I got for y'all. Until next time, I'm out.